Hi, so I figured I'd do a little review. This is an honest review from a real person. I don't gain anything from this, but I just figured I'd do this because I remember when I was researching WGU, I didn't see a lot of research on it or anything I could look up about it. So it was really hard to find out what it's really like. Okay, so I took it back and I believe I started September 2021. And to give you a little bit of background about me, I I was always pretty good at being independent with studying. Um, when I actually went to college for a little bit, I was actually really close to getting my associate's degree in respiratory care, but I decided that it wasn't for me and I quit right before. So I for a while, I went without having a degree, and so I was just getting entry-level positions, customer service jobs. And I was like, hey, what can I lose if I just try this WGU thing? I want to give it a try and see what it's like. I figured, what can it hurt? And I felt like the price wasn't bad, so I figured, worst case scenario, I have a bachelor's degree that at least I have one for the cost of a couple thousand. So I figured if I plan on graduating within the 6 months, basically, I was pretty good at independent studying, like I said, and I was tired of working the customer service jobs. I wanted to have something a little bit more above that and just a little bit more pay increase, or I was hoping I'd get like a supervisor position, and this would have me, like, my thinking was that this would make me stand out a little bit more, was having a bachelor's degree compared to just experience and no degree. And I figured this would help. I decided to enroll in WGU September 2021, and at first I started off really well. The classes seemed pretty easy, like you could study for like a week and get it. And I had a couple classes I could transfer in, nothing crazy, just like a couple math classes, so that helped knock some things out of the way. And my mentor was great. I loved my mentor. I sometimes was motivated because I didn't want to disappoint him. He was great, so I highly suggest having a good mentor. You can always change if you don't like yours. But I'm just gonna tell you like a little bit like what happened and how it went. So I had a great mentor. I was going along pretty great. Then, some of the classes were starting to get a little trickier, but I will say what helped me a lot was there's Facebook groups that you can join, WGU study groups, and you can kind of ask people like, hey, I'm taking this class. What's the parts I should study? What should I do? And you'll get a practice quiz. So like you'll have like a little online book for each class, like a handbook you go through, and you can like take this practice quiz, because what you're going to do is practice test, because it's supposed to be like kind of like the big one you're going to take. You only take one in the class, and that's it. You either pass or fail, and you do not want to fail. If you fail, the teachers make you do all this extra work. So when you study, you want to make sure you study really well and you're really prepared. Like, I always made sure I was like, when I did those practice tests, I made sure I was like almost acing them or getting really close. And I would always work on my weak parts. If there were certain chapters I knew I was good in, I would kind of just glance over them, and I would just really, really go hard on the weak areas, because it will tell you in those practice tests. It will say, you should work on chapter 4, you should work on chapter 5, and you can go back to them and just study those, which I highly suggest. Those help me a lot with speeding through the classes. Like, I wasn't worried about getting an A, I was just worried about passing. And so that's another thing I will tell you. You don't really get like a passing percentage. They'll just tell you if you got passed or failed. It's like a pass or fail thing. You're just proving your competence, just showing that you know the class or not. That's pretty much it. Do you know the class or do you not know the class? And then when you're done, you basically graduate with a B. You're gonna graduate, like, whenever you get asked on a resume or from anybody, it will be a 3.0 is what you'll go by. So it's a competency-based scoring and passing these classes. And I took 7 months. I was actually really close to just doing the 6 months. However, I had a medical emergency and I was down for a little bit, and of course it was right when I was about to be done. So I ended up going into the 2 parts, whatever you call them. I think it's like semesters. Or no, it's not called semesters. It's called something else because it goes into 6 months is what you're broken into, your terms. And I graduated, and honestly, I had a pretty decent experience. If you study smarter, you don't really have to study. I mean, you do have to study hard, but if you take it, you have to look at it like a full-time job and know that you could be done really quick. That's how I looked at it. I was like, I'm near the finish line. I don't have to spend 4 years on this. Just keep going, you know? I had a couple moments where I was like, do I really want to do this? And I'm like, no, I'm almost there. And honestly, you know, the big question is, did it help me get a job? Did it help me with anything? So at first, no, because I was in a regular customer service job. However, my job had a new position available that they were looking at people for. And really, I was not an expert in what they were looking for. But because I had my degree and my experience, they gave me a chance. So that was nice. And I got the business administration management degree, bachelor's degree. So it's a pretty generic one, but I did like the skills I learned. It actually helped me in real life too. Like I learned some accounting. I worked on my math. I worked on, you know, communication. I learned some marketing tricks. So even if you can't really use it necessarily for a job, it does actually help you with thinking with a business mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. And I will say that it did help me actually become more confident and feel more sure of myself and know a little bit about dealing with business things. But because of that, they saw the degree, like I said, and they saw the experience. I ended up getting a better position and better pay. So if that helps you to know, yes, you can get a better position, a better pay, even with the business degrees. You just kind of have to know how to market yourself and leverage the experience that you have, previous experience, and just really show that you know what you're doing, or they have an understanding of some of the things you've learned, or how you can fit into that role. You can definitely find a better position or get yourself in a better position. And so I will say I did have a good experience and it did pay off. I was kind of worried for a little bit. It took me some time to get that better position, but eventually it did help out. And it was worth it to me. So this is my honest experience. And if you have any questions, I can do, you know, answers on this and try to answer your questions if you have anything you're wondering about, because I know there's not a lot of videos, at least I haven't seen a lot when I looked, about WGU. And I do things like this. I'm trying to get better at posting more, so make sure you subscribe. I do a lot of random vlogging or crafting or little tips. So hope you have a great day.